What is happening, guys? It's Spruce Goose here, and you might be wondering, why am I making a video on the top 5 best cover 3 bombs in Madden 21 when I just made this video 3 weeks ago? Well, the reason is that EA released a patch earlier this week that completely changed the coverage logic of defenders playing cover 3, and that means it's back to the drawing board for a lot of our favorite cover 3 beaters. But don't worry, I've got you covered. EA may have tried to fix cover 3, but all they did is give us brand new ways to break it. So as always, guys, if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. And with that, let's jump into my post-patch top 5 best cover 3 bombs in Madden 21. Alright guys, so first up at honorable mention, we're going to be in the formation I-form wing, and the play is going to be called post shot. And on defense, as always, we're going to call random cover 3. I've got my fastest wide receiver at X on the left side, and I'm going to go ahead and block my tight end at B, and that's because we just need as much time in the pocket as possible. This is not an amazing play. It's only got 2 routes going out on the field, so if both routes are covered, it's a wasted play. That's why this is only honorable mention, but we're going to hope that the user comes down to cover the crosser, and it's going to leave the post to get open deep on the right side, because that deep third is not going to drop back on the right side. So let's run it and just buy our time in the pocket. That's our number one priority, buy time in the pocket, and look at X. As long as we pass lead it to the right, it's a wide open touchdown. The toughest part of this play is the time in the pocket. As long as you have the time in the pocket, it will be a touchdown. So let's go ahead and watch the deep third. Is it going to be, whoop, this guy? Is it this guy? Yes, it's this guy. So watch the deep third, and I think it's because it doesn't register that the guy on the other side of the field is going to come into his zone, and so he just never drops back. He just sits here, and just never, ever actually comes back to cover the deep third. Now, obviously, you got the safety there, but again, as long as you pass lead to the right side, and you should have your fastest receiver on this route. You should always have your fastest receiver on whatever the money route is of a cover 3 beater. Then as long, you'll be fine. Just pass lead to the right side, and you're good. So let's run it one more time. Go ahead and hike it. Buy some time in the pocket. I'm not even looking at the route yet. I'm just trying to make sure I have the time in the pocket. Pass lead to the right, and it's that simple, guys. Easy touchdown. Again, I know it's only 2 routes, but hopefully, and if you don't trust only sending 2 routes out, send the 3rd route out. Then you have a check down with the B receiver on the drag. The reason I, again, block the B is I want as much time in the pocket as possible for that route to develop. So it's up to you whether you block B or not. But that's I-form wing, post shot. That's our honorable mention play. Let's jump ahead to number 5. All right, guys, so at number 5 on the list, we're going to be in the formation pistol wing slot, and the play is going to be called Dagger. We're going to do random cover 3 like always. And the thing we're going to focus on this route is the tight end on the fade route on the right side, which we want to run to the wide side of the field. The only adjustments I'm going to make are to block the running back. And this is a really interesting play in that when it works, it might be the most open cover 3 beater on this list, but it struggles a little bit with consistency, and also it seems to work best when you roll out to the right with your quarterback versus just staying in the pocket. And so for those reasons, I've got it number 5 on the list, but it's such a good cover 3 beater when it works that I've got to put it on the list anyway. Now, Chris Jones has been giving me problems all day, so we're going to need to try and double team him and hope that he doesn't fly in there. But let's try and roll out and watch RB. Look how open this is, guys. Look how open this is. And the reason is that for whatever reason on this route, a lot of the time, the deep third just dummies out and does not play the route. So let's go and just watch the tight end and his deep third. He's on him, and he just stops covering him. He just gives up, and look how open it is. It's the most open cover 3 beater on this list when it actually works. And the reason I say when it actually works is we'll run through it a couple times, and he doesn't dummy out every single time. I'd say he dummies out the majority of the time, but not every time. And also with rolling out, sometimes you don't have enough time for it to really open up. But right there, once again, that's 2 for 2 now. You guys can see that when this thing works, it is beautiful. It is wide, wide, wide open. I don't know why it dummies out, because the whole point of the patch was to make these cover 3s, these deep thirds, get deep and stay deep. And this guy, he's just stopping. He's just stopping for no reason. I don't understand what it is. There's just something about this route that's really glitchy. He just decides to stop playing coverage, and it's a touchdown. So let's do one more. Let's see if we can go 3 for 3. But I'm being honest with you guys. It's not 100% consistent. It's probably the least consistent beater on this list. I want to be straight with you guys. But let's give it a shot. Let's try to roll out one more time and see if we can get it anyway. And so right there, the safety was a little bit closer to us, but it still worked really well. So hope you guys can see that when it works, it's beautiful. Just keep in mind, if you go into a game and it doesn't work, I have just experienced a little bit of inconsistency with it. But when it works, it's awesome. Definitely give it a shot in game. But that was number 5. Let's jump ahead to number 4. All right, guys, at number 4 on the list, we're going to be in the formation weak close, and our play is going to be called PA boot slide. We're going to do random cover 3 like always. And the only adjustment that I make right here is I streak my tight end at A. And as you can see, this is kind of a similar concept to the previous play. We've got a fade route on the right side, and we want to run that fade route to the wide side of the field. In this case, though, we've got really good check down options with our fullback and our receiver on the crosser. So if things aren't open deep, you still have really good options underneath. I also like to cancel the play action animation mid-animation just by hitting the sprint button, so right trigger or R2, and that just gets you into passing mode just a little bit sooner. But let's go ahead and run it and watch our B receiver, and he should come wide open. We're just going to pass lead him to the right, and it's a touchdown. Now, just like the last one, guys, I will say this one has not been 100% consistent for me. Like, I want to show you guys ones where it works, but there will be cases where, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work. Cover 3 beers, as far as I can tell, are just not as consistent post-patch compared to pre-patch, but they still are pretty good. But what's going to happen right here is we have our streak occupying the safety, just holding him to the side long enough that he's not going to come and cover our fade route. And then on this side, I don't know what exactly happens with this deep third. I think maybe the crosser distracts him. You see the crosser from Mike Evans coming underneath. He gets distracted, but he was already kind of playing bad coverage anyway. And we just get over the top and pass lead it to the right, and it's a touchdown. So let's do it again. Streak our tight end at A. Cancel the play action. Got hung up on the running back for a sec. Pass lead it to the right, and there you go, guys. We'll run it one more time, see if we can go 3 for 3. But just like the last one, I want to remind you guys, it's not 100% consistent. So if you try it and it doesn't work, don't come get mad at me. But it should work the majority of the time for you guys. We just went 3 for 3, and I think it's a very, very solid cover 3 beer. So that was number 4. Let's jump ahead to number 3. All right, guys, at number 3 on the list is a play you might recognize if you saw the previous video. It's going to be I form close. The play is PA tight end leak. It is the only cover 3 bomb that I'm aware of that survived the patch by EA. I don't think it's as good as it was before, but it still can work pretty well. We're going to smart route our tight end at A. And besides that, I like running it with the deep post going towards the short side of the field. So, in this case, I'm on the right hash because it's going to the right. Let's go ahead and run it. I don't think it gets as wide open as it usually does. Okay, now right there, it got extremely open. It got extremely open on that. It's not always that open, but holy cow, that was super, super open. If it was that open every play, it would be the best cover 3 beater in the game. Unfortunately, as you guys will probably see, I had to throw it early there because of the pass rush, but it was actually going to come really open once again. So maybe it's better than I thought, but let's run through it a couple times. Let's see if we can get a play where it's a little bit closer. Even right here, I mean, so you can see, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, guys. You saw the deep third reacted a little bit better. So pre-patch, that deep third would just never react at all. He would just leave it completely open. And this time, it looks like sometimes he reacts, sometimes he doesn't. He did not react at all right there. Let's run it one more time. I don't need to spend a lot of time on this. You guys are already aware of how great of a cover 3 beer this is. It's been around since the beginning of the game. And so right there, again, he reacted a little bit earlier, and you saw it's kind of a little bit closer. But as long as you're passing it to the right and maybe a little bit over the top as well, it's going to be an easy touchdown for you guys. It's still a great, great, great cover 3 bomb. And if you don't get hit by Chris Jones, then it's absolutely going to be wide open. But if it's a normal cover 3, smart route your tight end to A, watch your X receiver just come stupid open, pass lead it to the right, and it's an easy touchdown. So that was number 3. Let's jump ahead to number 2. All right, guys, at number 2 on the list, this is where we start to get really glitchy. I'm going to be in the formation gun, empty Y Texan. It's also empty Y Saint or empty Y Panther if you're in any of those 3 teams' playbooks. And you guys know this play double drags. Pre-patch, it was like an incredible cover 3 beater because what would happen is on the left side, you would smoke screen your X receiver, and your fade route from the wide receiver would just be stupid open. Now, it does not work anymore. Let's go ahead and run it. We would probably streak the tight end as well. But if you go ahead and run it, it doesn't work anymore. It's covered. So you may be saying, well, why are you showing me this? And this, spread very, very quickly after the new patch came out. All we have to do, guys, is leave X on the drag, put Y on a streak, and put our tight end A on a streak, and watch what happens with our wide receiver. This time, he is just going to come super open, and I didn't even do a good job of leading it there, and he got chucked. And the reason is that, and we saw this, let's do the replay. We saw this a little bit on some of the other cover 3 beaters. The corner out here, he's like running away. He's not running with the receiver. He's kind of running to the outside. We saw this a little bit earlier as well. And he's just going to leave that receiver super open. Now let's run a couple times, because that wasn't even a very good example, for being totally honest. There's going to be much better examples. Now right there, that's kind of where it gets really glitchy. If you don't get chucked, if you guys remember from the last video, getting chucked at the line makes it a lot tougher for these things to work. But if you don't get chucked on the line, if it's a free release, man, I mean, look how open that is. That is just ridiculous how open that is. And it's not always repeatable in every formation. That's what's kind of weird so far, is I don't know why it works so well in this 5-wide, but not necessarily in other formations. I can't tell you guys that any combination of a drag and a streak is going to be 3 touchdowns against cover 3. For some reason, it is just in this 5-wide that's in those 3 playbooks. But boy, is it good. Now right there, we had absolutely no blocking. I think that only sent 4, but we had no blocking. That's okay. But let's just keep watching the Y receiver. Even when he does have someone run with him a little bit. Now right there, it looks like A was actually the open read, but the safety did not react anyway. But you can just sit here and just put these 2 guys on streaks and read the safety, and one of them's just gonna be stupid open right there again. Just pass lead it to the left. It's just free touchdowns, man. So this is just a really, really great setup. And I'm going to try and hit the tight end as well. We have Gronk, and Gronk's definitely a lot slower. But if you guys look, I mean, right here, we can even pass it to the right. And that's a 1-play touchdown to slow Gronk. I mean, he's slow for a tight end. We just did a 1-play touchdown against cover 3. So all you do, again, just streak both those guys, read them. Sometimes you'll have it to both sides. We got it to Gronk more this time. But just read both sides. And I mean, gosh, this might be just the best cover 3 beater in the game. You guys will see why it's not number 1 in a sec. But just with how open everything gets on just both sides, this is just really, really powerful. It's funny because initially people thought that it killed the cover 3 beater in this. Turns out streaks are doing an even better job than the smoke screen and fade did before. So, because of all this, guys, because of how great, of course we couldn't get that one, but because of how great these cover 3 beaters are on both sides, this really could have been number 1, but it's number 2, and boy, is it effective. So again, if you're not running one of those 3 playbooks, you might have to mess around. Maybe you can find another formation where this drag and streak concept will get you guys open as well. But as of right now, we only know of it in this 5-wide, which is in those 3 playbooks: Saints, Panthers, and Texans. But anyway, guys, that's number 2. Let's jump ahead to number 1. All right, guys, so number 1 on the list is actually a 3-parter, and they're all coming out of the Patriots playbook. The first one, I guess, is also in the Dolphins playbook, but the second 2 are exclusive to the Patriots playbook. So number 1 on this list is really just the Patriots playbook. For whatever reason, they got all the glitchy cover 3 bombs. So the first one we're going to look at is going to be gun split close pats, X drag trail, which you may recognize from the previous video, but the setup is different this time. Last time we were taking our tight end at A and motioning him over to the left to open up our receiver at B to come open on the deep left, but that's not the setup this time. This time we're going to streak X, streak B, and then motion over A, and we're going to watch our X receiver on the left side, and he's just going to come wide open. Because what happens is the corner, very similar motion to what we've been seeing before, that corner who's supposed to be in a deep third, he starts running outside for no particular reason. It's this guy right here. He just starts running outside. Instead of running with the receiver, he runs toward the sideline. I guess he gets distracted by the corner route. Even though the corner route's already covered, he gets distracted by the corner and just leaves the touchdown wide open. Now, just like with most of these plays, I don't think it has 100% consistency. So definitely try it out for yourself before you run it in a game. But let's run it again. And if you guys see, the safety was actually a little closer to us that time. But that's why we're streaking the B receiver, is just to pull that safety to the right. The deep third should be not a problem. And you've got your easy one-play touchdown. So that was, I guess, 1A out of the Patriots playbook. Let's jump ahead to 1B. All right, guys, so the second setup out of the Patriots playbook is going to be the formation gun, Y-off trips Pats. You guys may know it as a very glitchy formation. Some of the pro players love running out of gun, Y-off trips Pats. In this case, we're going to be looking at PA Pats cross. And this setup is super, super simple. All we're going to do is streak our X receiver and then take our slot receiver on the right side on the crosser, and we're just going to motion over. And make sure you run this with the streak to the wide side of the field. But just motion over the crosser, hike it when he gets over there, and just watch what happens on the left side. Again, we get that same opening that we got on the previous play, where that cornerback just runs toward the sideline. I guess he's distracted by the crosser or something. But it just gets so open, and it's very repeatable. So it's just such a great play. For whatever reason, I have not been able to reproduce this in any other formation. There's just something about Y-off trips Pats that with that little crosser, it just distracts that deep third so well. I definitely think that that's going to be the setup. Now, obviously, we kind of reproduced it with X drag trail, but we had like a post route from the tight end. I don't know. It's been tough for me to reproduce these with hot routes, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because if you can reproduce it with a hot route, kind of like pre-patch, when you could just take a smoke screen and a streak in pretty much any play in the game, it's a cover 3 beater. I haven't figured that out yet. Now, stay tuned, because if I figure that out, I'll definitely update you guys. But right now, it's looking like we're having to take advantage of, plays that have, a post or a crosser that we can motion over and it won't flip. And then we're going to take advantage of exploiting that deep third. Because, if I was to put like a smart routed crosser on this and motion it over, he is going to flip. I'll show you guys. The crosser will flip to the other side like that. And so that's why we can't do it with hot routes. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off track. As you guys saw, just motion over that slot receiver, streak the X receiver. It's wide open. And let's jump ahead to the third and final cover 3 beater out of the Patriots playbook. All right, guys, so the third and final cover 3 beater exclusive to the Patriots playbook is going to be, again, out of gun, Y-off trips Pats, and the play is going to be curl flats, and it's going to be basically the same concept as before. We're going to streak our X receiver, and we're going to take our receiver at RB on this post, motion him over, and it becomes a corner. And watch that deep third. That deep third just does not cover it, except the safety is a little close. I'll admit that. The safety is a tad close. But is there anything we can do? Let's go ahead and just streak our tight end. This is me just trying things out. Let's streak our tight end, see if that distracts the safety a little bit. But we definitely need to streak the X receiver, motion over the post. It becomes a corner. Hike the ball on the other side. And that time looks like it's going to be wide open. Because again, that post that turns into a corner, it just distracts the deep third. And it's an easy touchdown. So why is Patriots playbook number 1 on this list? Basically, the reason is that there's so many different plays that you can accomplish the same effect out of. It's just going to make your play calling that much more tricky for the defense. I'm going to try and throw the tight end that time, just purely to see what happens, and it worked. So that was completely off script. Just saw the tight end come open on the streak, and so you can squeeze that in there as well. It wasn't a super open throw, but you can actually squeeze that in there too. But just having so many different plays to get the same concept out of, again, the tight end. So it works on both sides as well. So this is even better than I realized. I thought it was just a cover 3 beater on the left, but if that safety is covering on the left, hit your tight end on the right. And gosh, this is such a great cover 3 beater, man. And just having so many different plays you can call this out of, it's just gonna make it so much more difficult for your opponent to defend, whatever you're doing if they want to run cover 3, because they're gonna have no clue what your other routes are on the field. So I think it is just a very, very great playbook, great formation, great setup for beating cover 3. But anyway, guys, those are my post-patch top 5 best cover 3 beers in Madden 21. I hope you enjoyed it, and I know there's going to be a lot more out there. There are going to be so many more cover 3 beers discovered. So if you're watching this in a week or a month, and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy has no clue what the meta cover 3 beater is right now. It's because I'm making this just a couple days after the patch. I want to get some new cover 3 bombs out for you guys. Because I know some people are freaking out. Some people are like, hey, all my cover 3 beaters no longer work. And so hopefully you guys can use some of these and still torch cover 3 if your opponent just wants to sit in it. Remember, you should never be sitting in the same coverage every play. You want to be mixing it up. But we know that there are people online who will sit in the same coverage over and over and over again. And if they're going to do that, if they're just going to sit in cover 3, you can use these plays and really make them pay for it. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for you in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel tremendously. Let me know in the comments below what videos you guys want to see in the future. And that's about it. I hope you guys have a great one. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.